Hi, Kara. Welcome to What's Your Next podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So happy to have you here. Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Kara. I'm a mom. I have three kids. I live in Arizona. I'm a full-time writer. I spend a lot of my time either writing, reading, or at my kids' baseball games. Basically, half of my books, I swear, are written from the sidelines. So it's what I spend most of my time doing.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine. I was going to ask you, how do you balance it all? Like writing, being a mother, just writing full time is still like it's a job, and then being a mother and doing all the kids' activities and everything that takes entail, and being in 2026, which is a whole trauma Olympics that were happening.
I definitely don't do it all. When I am in like a really busy season of writing, I had a draft that was due in mid-January. So when
Yeah,
I'm like really focused in on something and I'm on deadline, then pretty much everything else falls by the wayside. Like my house is a mess. I don't do laundry. I don't cook
yeah,
anything. My kids are fending for themselves. They're old enough now that if mom doesn't cook, they can make themselves macaroni and cheese or something. And then once I've turned a draft in and things get a little slower on the author side of things, I try to have a little bit more balance, but it's definitely hectic.
it's just basically managing it all.
Mhm.
And you just cannot do it perfectly. Yeah. As a millennial woman, we have this idea that we have to do it all imperfectly and it has to be the highest level of effort. And the reality is, and you just have to coast with it. What you can do and focus on what you should do.
Yeah, I actually heard this metaphor one time that I really liked that said you have to, at any given time, like you're juggling, all of us are juggling a million different balls every day, and that we have to know which balls are glass. So, which ones at
Yeah.
any given time you can't drop. And
Yeah.
so, the person who said that is like, well, maybe somebody listening to this would say, oh, well, your family, that's always glass. But that's
Yeah.
not the case. When I'm on deadline, like the book is glass and
Yeah.
feeding my kids is not because they can eat chicken nuggets and be fine. And then there
Yes.
are other times when they need me more, and those balls become the glass.
Yes, I would like this metaphor because it's like you're trying to figure out which one is important at this moment. And it's moment by moment. Nothing is permanent. I think in some ways we believe the idea that everything decisions for the rest of our lives. We can change our mind, we can figure out, and there's ebbs and flows, and some stuff is coming easy, some stuff is hard. And you just have to just go with it. It's like riding the wave as opposed to pushing the wave. We're going again.
Exactly. Yep. We're just along for the ride.
Awesome. Let's start with the write off, which I actually got to read early. And I am so excited to chat with you because we have two writers who met in college and freshman year in writing class, as one does. And they've been kind of like parallel lives and relationships having, we got dual timelines. So we have the college era, and then we got almost 10 years later since they met, and they're both are authors. They're both, one is successful, but she's having terrible block about her upcoming release, and they're attending a big event in their college as headline authors. So you get to play around with the author space, but you also get to play around with the your adult angst that we love. Talk to us about let's say elevator pitch. Probably describe a little bit better than I do. And then we'll talk about
Definitely
Olivia.
not. Yeah. So it is about these two writers. We have Mars, which is short for Margot, and West. And like you said, they meet in college. And then over the course of the next about 10 years, they go through lots of different ups and downs with their careers and with their relationship. And when they meet again in the future, which is where the book starts at the Tucson Festival of Books on the U of A campus, which is where I went to school in Tucson. So it was fun to be able to write all those little details in there from my experience. They meet up again, and you can tell like something has happened between them and you don't really know what it is. And so then through the course of the book, the alternating timelines just unfolds the mystery of what happened in the past, how it got them to where they are today, and are they going to be able to sort of mend this mess that they've created despite the fact that they have been like they've loved each other basically from the beginning.
Yes. And she basically writes her mailman character based on him.
Oh, that too. Yes, when she writes her book, her best-selling fantasy series, she writes it in college, and before she realizes that she's in love with West, she accidentally like completely bases the book character off of him, and it's so similar, and she doesn't see it, and then everybody's like, you know, this is him, right? And he reads it, and he's like, this is me, right? And then the book explodes. It gets very popular. He becomes like everybody's favorite book boyfriend. But by this point, they are not speaking to each other anymore. So she basically has to spend the rest of her career like making all of her fans fall in love with this guy that has hurt her really badly. And it doesn't always end well for her.
No, it she's plays. I love the what you consider the meat hero in the future, which is she's trying to get it. Like she's been called by her closest. It's like, hey, we have a headliner you're gonna chat about because you both went to school and you're gonna have this. And then she goes try to go talk to the person in charge, but there's no person in charge. To be like, we gotta change that and not working out. And Wes shows up. Why sure she's being a Karen in this room.
Yes. And I know you don't want me here, but basically I'm here anyway, and you're going to have to deal with it. And she is like just beside herself because she feels like he has done her so wrong. And it takes a while to figure out like exactly what has happened and how he has done her wrong. Yeah, it was a really fun dynamic to play with then, like seeing each other again for the first time. That's one of my favorite moments in any second chance romance I read. It's like when they finally come back and they see each other again, and there's so much history and so many feelings there, and it's just so angsty and delicious.
Yeah, I love the dynamic of getting the first love and the second chance romance because you get both the coming of age happening in college, and then you get the second chance as adults, like in established. And you get the best of both worlds when you're reading it. Like, why? And like, I'm actually a new adult where they're in college, but you get the adult aspect that, like, when the full frontal lobe has been formed, and we have like adult issues that to deal with. They're not related to parents. They're really related to what's my career. They already have quote unquote established careers. This book actually brings you the best of both worlds. When you get to feel that you're in University of Arizona, you get the college experience.
Yeah, thank you. And I think what becomes very clear and what I tried to make really obvious in the book is that if they had gotten together when they were in college, like it never would have worked because they both had to go off on their own and grow up and become their own like adults and go through a lot of things and learn lessons. So they like realized that as much as they loved each other when they were younger, they weren't ready to be together yet.
Yes, which a lot of those college books is true that it's very hard to root for happily ever after when you're reading an angsty college romance. Like it's just hard because you're like, I don't know, maybe because I'm a cynic 44-year-old, maybe you need to have some real life experience. It's not life or death.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, you still have so much growing up to do. You're going to hit so many obstacles. Yeah. And like, if you can't grow together, it's just going to be so much harder.
Yes, you got to date around, go figure something out, make mistakes, be messy. That's what you're supposed to do in your 20s.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to figure out your whole world when you're 25.
No, unfortunately, no, that's not how it works out, huh?
No. So that's a write-off, which I'm so excited for the listeners to pick it up because I think you get the best of both worlds. You get the college experience, gangs that we love from new adult books, but we also get the second chance romance that's so tender and just so angsty too. So we get
Thank you. It is high angst.
Yes. Let's look at the books that you read. What kind of books do you actually read? Do you read contemporary romance or you read other genres to help you while you're writing something else?
Yes, I read mostly contemporary romance, and it does hurt my feelings sometimes because they are so good that I'm reading something and I'm like, oh, I will never write anything as good as this, that feeling. But then it also becomes like extremely inspiring. And so I'm basically just like hoping that I can write something as good as this. So while I'm in the middle of drafting, I do tend to veer more towards maybe romance or fantasy or something. So it's not quite so similar. But when I have time and I can just binge a bunch, I will just read a bunch of contemporary romances and absolutely love my life.
Yes. Let's talk about the romance recommendations because I got quite a few. And I was sharing, we were talking beforehand. I was like, oh, I love this book. I love this book. And this one I had on my TV. So
yes.
The list. I can start saying the names. So first, Is She Really Going Out With Him by Sophie Cousens.
Yes, I read this one last year and it just blew me away with how much I loved it. And the main character, she is in her late 30s. She's divorced. She has kids. And I just find that to be like a really refreshing breath of fresh air in this genre where like a lot of times they're in maybe their late 20s. They haven't been through some of that stuff that we talked about earlier. So she is just like on a different side of her life and sort of navigating finding love a second time. And it's very funny. The setup is really cute. And I am obsessed with this book.
Oh my gosh, I have to put this on my TBR. I love Sophie's other books. They're just delightful. I don't know, they just work really well for me.
Yeah.
So if this one is, you have me in like late 30s, I'm like, yes, this is actually, I need to bump this one up. So
Yeah, and it has like a perfect amount of kids in it. Because sometimes if there's kids in a book, it might be a little bit too much, but this is not at all. It's just like just right.
just right. I read
Mm-hmm.
this one, the Rom-Commers by Katherine Center. I think obviously if you like rom-coms, Katherine Center is the queen. I think some of her books, I think The Bodyguard's gonna be a holiday movie coming out with Dean from and Blair from Gossip Girl
Gossip
and
Girl. Yeah.
Girl. The Rom-Commers is I think it's like the perfect rom-com.
Yeah, that was my feeling coming away from it. I was just like, this is a pitch perfect rom-com. Like every beat was so incredible. It's funny, it's tender, it makes you like really fall in love with the characters and really believe them a lot. Most of the books that I read have a little bit of a higher spice level, but this one is closed door and I feel like you don't miss the spice at all. It's just like perfectly done that I wouldn't want it to be anything different than what it is.
Yes, I think that's like a good introduction for new contemporary romance readers. This is a good introduction to romance. So you're not feeling too shocked by the why choose romance or alien romance that you're like getting it on.
Exactly.
It's like a rom-com movie and a book.
Mhm. It does. It feels like those perfect rom-com movies from like the late 90s, early 2000s that they don't make as much anymore, which is why I'm so glad that they're turning her books into movies because
Yeah.
she just does it so well.
Yes, I think you're doing something that helps us, which is writing the books that eventually can become movies, film shows, and other things. Hollywood has moved away from original screenwriting into Cousens IP. So we love to see more rom-coms being,
Always.
I miss that. I miss the 1999 and 2000 rom-com era so much. So the next one I actually loved, which is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. It's just so good.
It's so good. And it was hard for me to choose an Allie Hazelwood book because they are all perfect, in my opinion.
Yes.
I love every single one of them. Problematic Summer Romance, I just love that. I know like age gap romance is such a taboo in the normal, like in today's world with the younger generations. I saw a TikTok video the other day where somebody was talking about a couple and they were 17 and 18, and someone was talking about how that was an age gap. And I was just I don't always understand, but this, I really love that going into it. It's just like titled Problematic Summer Romance. You know exactly what you're going to get into, but then you get into it and it is so, so well done. You like, oh, this one also, this is why I put this here because it has the dual timeline romance because you meet the characters in the present day and you can tell that there's a lot of emotions and a lot of history going on there underneath the surface. And then as you read the book, it goes throughout their past and tells you exactly how they met and what has happened between them and how they've gotten to the place they are now. And I thought that was really well done. And then, as always, in any Ali Hazelwood book, the spice it's great.
Yeah, I love the hero in this book because he's so tight and he's like just ready to explode. And the heroine is like just the sprite of spirit of this, let's live life, there's more at stake. And I think the mismatch of opposite attract feels so well, works so well. Because the hero's like, I don't want to have a problematic side of that. Just like you, but I can't act on this. And just, yes, do it. What the
And yeah, it's his like best friend and coworker's little sister. And he's just trying so hard to be a good guy to the point where he's like making his life worse. He's making her life worse. As the readers, we can see how perfect they are for each other, but he's just attached to this idea he has in his head of doing the right thing. That it's really wonderful to see him like break that down over time and break down his walls and realize that, he is allowed to have the things that he wants.
Yes. All right. We got to talk about fall book, but you can read it anytime, which is if it makes you happy, read your Olivia. This is the perfect fall book. It's in the 1990s, which we love, Vermont. It just has all the vibes.
Yeah, it really is such a vibes book. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday who just read it, and she was like, I don't even know if I can put my finger on exactly what made it so spectacular. It just felt like so much greater than the sum of its parts. Like everything about it just feels so cozy. The characters are so well done. This is a single dad romance. I have older characters. I have single parents. I've just been really into that lately. As I've gotten to my late 30s, I just feel like I want to read characters who are closer to my own age and have more life experiences. So he is a fantastic single dad. It's a Gilmore Girls-esque small town where everybody knows each other and they're involved in each other's businesses. And she is there for the fall running her parents' bed and breakfast, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, I listened to this one on audio and I really enjoyed it. And like you said, it is a perfect fall read, but I assume would be perfect anytime because it's just really well done.
Yes. And there's a new follow up. We saw the cover reel. Looks good. And there's like a plushie. There's like a whole thing around it.
I know. It is so gorgeous. This author, she read an early copy of the write-off and she gave me a blurb for it. And I was just like squealing when that came in because I was like, oh my gosh, you have no idea. I love you so much. I love your book so much. So that made me extremely happy.
Did you read her theme park books? She has like a couple theme park.
I haven't, but I have like her whole backlist on my TBR. I'm like, I just need it all. And I know once I start, I'm going to just want to keep going through them and binge the whole series.
Their theme park is basically, it's about a roller coaster and someone who's very excited about a theme park and the guy who makes roller coasters and he has to go fix the roller coaster because of an issue and she got injured. But she loves the theme park so much. And he's like trying to fix the roller coaster. You wouldn't think about
that's so charming.
It's a theme park, kind of like Dollywood, but you're so good. There's $3 in the series. You're just delightful.
That sounds so cute. I need to bump that up higher on my team.
That's like a perfect summer book.
Okay, perfect.
Do the summer books, and then you have this one for the fall. So.
Or something for every season.
Your final recommendation is the book that I have on my TBR, which is Birding with Benefits by Sarah T. Dubb.
This was actually just adapted into a Hallmark movie, which is, yes, it's really exciting. And I listened to the audio. This is another one. It's a dual POV. So it has two narrators and they do a really good job with it. It takes place in Tucson like the write-off does. And it's about a divorced single mom and this guy that she meets. And they are in this birding competition, which is where they have 45 days or something to spot the most amount of wild birds around Tucson. And it's a very prestigious competition. And he is an expert birder. And she knows absolutely nothing about birding, but they do it because his ex-girlfriend is there. So they're doing like a little fake dating situation where she's helping him out. So his ex-girlfriend gets jealous and then he's helping her out at work events, like work parties and stuff. So that way they'll stop trying to set her up. And so then there's a little bit, oh, we have to kiss right now because our coworkers are looking at us. And so, oh darn, we have to. But it's really cute and really well done.
I love it. I love that you're sharing another Arizona representation. I know readers actually read books from different states or wherever. It's Arizona. It's clearly Arizona. You're reading across the states. That's a book that you got to add on and maybe then go follow Birding with Benefits. So
definitely, yeah.
Kara, tell us where you can find you online.
My website is Kara J. McDowell, which will have links to everything. And then on Instagram, I'm Kara J. McDowell Books. And I'm the same on TikTok. And those are really the only two places that I am. I'm not on Twitter anymore or Facebook or anything. So Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. Thank you, Kara, for being the show. Thanks for listening to The What to Read Next. For more book lists, cozy reads, and library tips, visit thewhattoreadnextblog.com. Your next great read might be waiting there.